So do you want a tattoo but absolutely have no idea where to start with the creative process? Now that I have 10 plus years in the business, what I always say to my clients and just people in general is to just wait, just let it come to you, don't rush it. But I do know that there are people out there, they just want things now, they don't want to wait. So this video is for you, so you don't end up like me when I was 17, just getting blasted up and just putting things where they fit, you know what I mean? I guess it didn't come out too bad. I have seen worse, but yeah, this video is for you. All right, so there are about 6 things that I would want you to consider getting your first tattoo. Now, this first one here is pretty much just ask yourself if you're going to want more after this one singular tattoo that you get. This is because you want to know, you want to plan in the future. You want, if you're considering multiple tattoos, then I'll also suggest considering what you want your arm or leg, back to look like in the future. You know what I mean? Because that's the end goal there. So just ask yourself, is this the only tattoo that you're going to want for the rest of your life? More likely than not, it's probably not going to be your only tattoo that you get for the rest of your life. But if it isn't, then I would ask yourself, I would consider how would you want your sleeve or back piece or whatever to look like in the future? And you can do that by going on Pinterest, going on Instagram, following some people that you like stylistically. You can even use this button on Instagram that kind of helps you find similar profiles to whatever page you're looking at. That's also helpful as well. All right, so now that you've found the certain style of the sleeve, what I want you to do is find out where you want to start the sleeve or the back piece, whatever. Sorry, I keep saying sleeve, and I don't know. But let's just say you are starting a sleeve. Where would you want to start it? Would you want to start with the piece up here? Would you want to start with the piece down here? Where would it go? And that all depends with what you want your arm to look like in the future. Now, say you're getting like a minimalist sleeve or like something with like some simple font. And you're gonna want more in the future and you're gonna get that patchwork style, but it's like these very fine like line work, minimalist stuff, you're gonna use the aesthetics of the body, to find the certain placement and the sizing. This is why I say that this all depends on the stylistic approach of the tattoo that you're getting, as opposed to like getting, again, like a giant line where you could just kind of slap it on there and like cover most of the real estate, that's cool. But also say you're going to that like minimalist route, then you got to be a little bit more meticulous on where you're going to place and how big you're going to make these certain tattoos. Sometimes, honestly, when I place small tattoos, like a lot of the times the setup and like the placement of the tattoo alone just takes longer than the whole tattoo. And this is because, again, due to the size of the tattoo and the stylistic approach, you got to figure out where it looks good. We can't just throw, say if you're getting something small, you can't just throw it on your forehead or whatever, you know what I mean? It's gotta make sense, a good analogy to this is like, say you're trying to put furniture in a room, right? You're not gonna put like a couch in the middle of the room. You're gonna put it up against the wall. Somewhere where it looks normal, I guess. I don't know. Somewhere where, you know what I mean. But yeah, that's the analogy I wanted to make. So now that you've found the placement, now what I want you to do is find the sizing. Now, this will all change depending on your type of sleeve that you're getting, or sleeve or back piece, whatever that you're getting stylistically, right? Now, again, all this stuff, your tattoo artist should be helping you with this. Now, I have a lot of situations where people they just hear that some artists get back to them, like they kind of get all upset for asking them to do their job, like putting something. It's like, bro, like either you can't do it or what, you know? I don't know, but I just think it's like kind of stupid. Like, you know, it's your job to do that. But anyways, as a tattoo artist, it's our job to be, you know, finding out the design and stuff. Anyways, but yeah, so once you figure out the placement, now what I want you to do is find out the sizing. And again, this will all change depending on your tattoo stylistically and stuff like that. Okay, so now that you have the sizing, placement, and the style, you can use that information in conjunction to find your final piece. And I say final piece is, as your first tattoo or whatever. So yeah, just use that information to just try to hone in on a certain design, you know what I mean? Now I say this because, you know, like say you're getting like a black and gray realism lion, right? And you want a sleeve, a full sleeve that eventually wants to cover, you know, the majority of the real estate of my arm, you know? With sleeves like that, obviously I'm not gonna get a little tiny lion right here, right? You're most likely gonna blow it up as much as possible, without warping it to the point where you're gonna have to like look around it to be able to see what's happening, you know, to see what's going on. But yeah, okay, so if you don't have a particular design in mind already, then what you can do is take that information that we went over earlier and kind of go back into your search engine and use those keywords, and find a certain piece, you know. And then once you find something that you start resonating with or you kind of like, take that and send it to your artist and be like, hey, can you cook something up similar to this or something like that? And yeah, they should be more than happy to put it together for you. Maybe they might ask for a deposit, whatever, which is fair, right? Because that's work. But anyways, yeah, as I said earlier, and I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of artists out there that are like, you know, they would get upset at the fact that you even ask them to do stuff like, you know, put it together. Like there's a lot of tattoo artists out there that are just like so, you know, hard-headed and just my way or the highway. They, you know, they don't want anything. They don't want you sending them anything. They just want to do whatever they want to do. And I think that's like the stupidest thing ever. But anyways, but yeah, a little tangent. But yeah, so again, if you don't have anything in particular, just go back to your search engine of choice and kind of just like, you know, start looking stuff up and then start putting things together, gathering like images and kind of just send it to your artist, you know, and show them what you want your first tattoo to look like, using that information that we went over earlier. Now, once you do that, just make the certain adjustments you need to make in order to end up with your final product. And once you do that, you're ready to go. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for watching.